Concerned what it hit for, cause I've still come to raise hell like Mephisto. Please don't front, cause I'll karate chop your lymph node. Noodle arm punk you punch and end up with your wrist.
This is MagMongoSlade. Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Let's talk about Fyter Fest Night 2. I guess that's what they're calling it. I mean, it's Dynamite to me, man. It's all Dynamite. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I don't care. So this show is boring to me. It's pop chasing. There's no real storyline, nothing to really get involved in, except for they attempted to try to build the storyline in the middle of the show. We'll get to that in a moment. It didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to, but we kind of knew that already. All right. The first match, Chris Jericho versus Shawn Spears. I have to give credit. I wish I remember what the guy's name was, but somebody in the Cornet comment section called Shawn Spears Shawn Spears. Y-A-W-N. And I said, I'm still in that. And that's what it is. This dude is Shawn Spears. This match sucked. You know, it was boring. Everybody knew that Shawn Spears wasn't going to win. So they tried to make it interesting with the chairs. And they tried to make it interesting with MJF on commentary. You know, JR's microphone was garbage in this match, especially early. He was trying to do it's Wednesday night and you know what that means. But the sounds of all the explosions drowned him out. Jericho did a top rope hurricanrana, which was, I'm not going to front. It was impressive. You know, for a guy who couldn't even do a lion salt, I was impressed to see Jericho not kill himself and do that in doing that move. But Jericho wins, obviously, not a big deal. Post-match, MJF is pretty upset. He's mad that Sammy Guevara came out there and helped him and said, if anybody helps you in any more of these labors, our bet is off. It's over. The bet is off. Then he says that next week, you're going to wrestle Nick Gage, the bank robber, drug addict. And he came out. The guy's a dentist, either a paradise or a nightmare, depending on, I'm pretty sure Britt Baker looked at him and said either she's going to spend a lot of time fixing his teeth or make a lot of money fixing his teeth. Either way it go, the guy's mouth was like the Rocky Mountains. All right, now, in any event, he came out wielding a pizza cutter and said that Jericho was fucked. This led Jericho to later in the show say, you're going to bring the most violent and demented man in the business. I'm going to become the most violent and demented version of myself. So he's going to bring the Painmaker. So it's going to be the Painmaker versus MDK. I'm sorry, MDK all fucking day. Because deathmatch weirdos, that's their target audience is, you know, deathmatch guys. We got to have random, no disqualification matches on the show. Just cause, you know, I mean, it's Wednesday. What else are you going to do? Have a wrestling match? You know, so here's the thing. I, for one, don't hate Nick Gage. I really don't. I see the appeal. I've watched him a couple of times. I don't like the style, but he is a guy that I see people gravitate towards. He has a legitimate fan base. I will support that. The problem is he's wrestling on TNT against Chris Jericho. What do you think is going to happen? You think Jericho's going to let him do all the fluorescent light tubes and all that dumb shit? No. Jericho's going to neuter most of this shit. So I'm not upset about the whole deathmatch garbage because I don't really see Jericho doing a lot of the shit that Nick Gage wants to do. You know, Jericho may try to, you know, he may take some of it just to prove a point, but he's not going to, the worst indulgences of Nick Gage, Jericho is going to resist it. Right? There's going to be he's going to take a beating in order to get Nick Gage over and all that kind of stuff. But it won't do him any good. All right? It won't do him any good. You know, because I don't see a lot of, I mean, it's all about what you do. Nick Gage I haven't seen him do much of anything except cuss and hit people with stuff. I think that's his entire personality. That's his entire gimmick is he cusses a lot and he hits people with things and he's tough. And it's like, well, there's a certain element of, Okay, that's kind of cool to that, but it is what it is. It's for a certain audience, and it's not for me. I don't care about Nick Gage at all. But I did see all the wrestling intelligentsia acting their ass about, oh my God, they're trying to, they're trying to, what was the words? I'm trying to think of the actual words. What was it? Mainstream deathmatch wrestling. We're gonna try to make deathmatch wrestling mainstream. Like I've done videos about how WWE got where it is. In terms of a lot of the issues that they had. With the way SmackDown, specifically SmackDown, used to be on network TV. Now TNT is cable; they can get away with a little bit more. But part of the problem was the violent and vulgar nature of the show. And, AEW just insists on doing death matches every week. That's going to limit their audience. And that's what they want. They're trying to super serve an underserved audience. That's their philosophy. WWE is PG. They're not going to do blood and guts. We're going to do blood and guts. We're going to do more and more and more of it. WWE doesn't really do surprises because everybody has to go through NXT. Or, it's most of the time the stuff is spoiled long in advance, especially if sometimes even the call-ups are spoiled in advance. So we're going to do a bunch of surprises. We're going to work with other promotions to keep the show fresh. Some of that stuff is a good idea. Some of it is garbage. But ultimately, the big picture is that you cannot grow your audience by trying to surprise them with people nobody knows. Sure, I guess the people in the building know who Nick Gage is. I guess, but you're not going to educate them because he's not going to be there full time. So, what is really the point? I mean, imagine you're a guy with a... That's the crazy thing, right? No, I'm not going to say that. But I was going to say, when WWE does things, like give Bill Goldberg world title matches, people complain and say, well, what is the point? They need to move on and do other things. And I say, what is the point of bringing in Warhorse and bringing in Nick Gage and letting those guys take real estate from the guys that you actually signed? Instead of putting fucking Nick Gage in a match, how about you put Sammy Guevara in a match? How about MJF works a fucking match? How about Jungle Boy works a match? How about somebody who you could actually push long term work a fucking match? Jericho doesn't need any fucking matches with Nick Gage. He did his entire career without working with Nick Gage or even people like him. I don't think he even had an extensive program with Foley or anything. This is Jericho and Tony Khan feeling desperate and wanting to capitalize off of Nick Gage being on Dark Side of the Ring. And it's kind of like, man, this is some desperation horseshit, okay? It's not long-term booking. It's hot-shotting. It's fan service. It's pop chasing. It's all that stuff. What are you going to do the next week? Bring out somebody else for him to wrestle? Because you're not interested even in the guys that you signed? We're not going to have Jericho versus Wardlow in a no disqualification match. At least try to get some heat on Wardlow and make him look interesting, make him look good. No, we're going to go outside the company to Game Changer Wrestling and bring in Nick Gage just for the one-time pop and the one-time boost. Because it ain't going to work twice. Whatever. I don't care. It ain't my money. But I would think a company that's operating in the red would probably be a little bit smarter about the things that they do. That's just me, though. Whatever. So, Miro cut a promo, says that there's been many champions before him. There will be none after. Okay. Then we got Doc Gallows versus Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter, who gets beat clean by the Elite. And, look, they came up with this cool gimmick, cool idea, the Elite Hunter, right? A guy taking on every member of the Elite one-on-one, taking them down, hunting them, maybe even doing stretcher jobs on them, could have been fun. Remember when I think I talk about this a lot? WWE had the same plan for Edge when I think it was 2003, 2004 with the Evolution. He was gonna, he stood in the middle of the ring and said he's gonna hunt down and beat up every member of Evolution. That was gonna be his big push to the world title. I think he got injured and it didn't happen. So it was a great idea. It's a great plan. They could have gave that to Hangman Page. Hangman Page could be the Elite Hunter. He got kicked out of the Elite. It's like a superhero origin story about a guy who gets rebuked by his friends. Then he figures out, hey, my friends are really assholes. Somebody's got to stop them. I know all of their secrets. I'm going to stop them. And then he becomes the Elite Hunter, and he's going to beat up all of these guys because he knows all of them. And that could have been cool. And it would have got him over like gangbusters. But I guess they figure it's better to push him as a drunk loser who hangs out with mask-wearing freaks and midgets than say, okay, something cool like that. Instead, to give the cool gimmick to Frankie Kazarian and then throw him in a closet called Dark and Elevation. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting Elevation exists. This is not long-term booking, my guy. This ain't long-term booking. Not at all. This is not good. Not good. And I don't even care that Kaz lost because there's no reason to be invested in this storyline. It sucks. Don Callis, Kenny Omega come out there, say this is what happens when you mess with the Elite, you get beat down. Omega says, oh God, he just sounds like he's in one of those plays that he likes to do. Set the spider to the fly. Look who's caught in my web. It's so bad. It's so bad. He says that he stumbled during the promo. He said like the same thing 2 or 3 times, trying to remember what he was trying to say. Then he says, we're going to call you the Elite Hunted. I was like, sick burn, bro. Might put some butter on that one. Whatever. Hangman ran out to the ring, glass in hand, because, alcohol is a gimmick. Alcoholism, that's a gimmick. He got into a fight. Omega fled. Dark Order ran down to the ring and helped him. Who cares? Dark Order sucks. They sucked from day one. They suck now. They still suck. Let's move on. So Brian Cage was watching Team Taz. Team Taz was gloating. They claimed that Ricky Starks is going to have a celebration. Creole Dwayne Johnson said that he loves celebration because he's from New Orleans, because he know a little bit about that. And, Brian Cage, I looked at Brian Cage's arms during this promo. I looked at his arms and his chest. He looked like the Thing from the Fantastic Four. The guy is huge and just well built, like a statue. Unfortunately, he can't talk for shit. Unfortunately, he ain't got nothing to say. You would think that a guy like that would be angry that his friends betrayed him. But he's kind of like, you know what? I think I like celebrations. I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Fuck me. Get out of here. Next match. Wheeler Yuta versus Darby Allin. Darby Allin wins the match with a coffin drop. He worked the match with tape ribs because they're trying to sell the coffin match, which I guess is a nice touch. But in this match, you had Sting and Orange Cassidy outside the ring. Orange Cassidy decides he's going to start play kicking Sting. And Sting, world champion everywhere he's been so far, except WWE. But he got a Hall of Fame ring out of that. So it's kind of like a world title. And he exchanges fake kicks with Orange Cassidy, which includes a shuffle side kick that they both hit against each other. And Sting then playfully beats his chest. And this, to me, had my head in my hands because I said, when WCW went out of business, right? You started seeing guys like Hall and Nash. They were laughing their asses off. Because they kept saying, like, this is the machine. WCW is an ATM, right? And That's all the jokes that you see. Like you watch these old, a lot of these documentaries, a lot of these shooter interviews. They just talk about how much fun they had fucking off on company dime in WCW. That wear a Hawaiian t-shirt and jump in the pool. Just do whatever you want. It's just fun and games. And that's what I thought when I was looking at this. I was like, man, Sting doesn't take this seriously. I don't think he would have done that in TNA. It's a waste of television time. It's a waste of Sting. You could be doing interesting things with Sting. Far more interesting things than this. And what made it worse, I saw a blue check mark claim that this is one of the greatest things he's ever seen in the history of pro wrestling. I don't even know how to respond to that. I'm not witty enough or intelligent enough to come up with something to even discuss that. That shit is depressing. It is a sandbag on the show. When I look up and I see, I'm expecting to see like people say like, all right, I get that folks might not like that. But everybody thinks it's a joke. Everybody thinks it's funny. And I'm like, okay, I see here that, it doesn't matter what they put. Ketchup can wrestle mustard on Dynamite and people will feel obligated to tweet it. That, hey man, Ketchup got a big future. I can't believe WWE let mustard go. It's like, what the fuck, man? There's no critical thinking. Everybody's a fucking lemming at this point. They just tweet on autopilot, random shit. It's just like, oh. And the crazy thing about that is that it leads AEW to do more of it. It incentivizes more bad behavior. It doesn't make them get any better. If you're an AEW fan, you should want this show to be better. You should want it to be better. Not just happy at being served up anything. This is a TV dinner masquerading as a 5-star restaurant meal. Bullshit. After the match, Blade attacked Orange Cassidy. I didn't understand why. I knew they were feuding, but who cares? Really. Britt Baker wrestled Nyla Rose. Managed to survive, I guess. I guess we'll find out if there's an injury report. So then we got a promo from FTR and Santana and Ortiz. So Ortiz talks about how they have been there from day one. They've been in AEW since day one, as if that matters. And then FTR, talked about being the best tag team in the world and all that kind of thing. And Santana started pulling out pictures. And he starts talking about, pictures of his mom. And pictures of his mom in an apartment. And his mom arguing with the city, so they want to kick him out of their public housing and slumlords and all this kind of stuff. I'm thinking, what the fuck does any of this got to do with FTR? I love Santana and Ortiz. I really do, especially Santana. But what does any of that have to do with FTR? Why not talk about how FTR are assholes who, are overrated and people think are overlooking them, like everybody thinks that you guys, because of where you were working, they think you guys are the greatest tag team in the world. But what about us when we was doing an Impact? We were killing the game in Impact. We were top guys there, in a place that actually cares about tag team wrestling. We were putting it in. We were grinding. You guys have been coasting. Since the Stanford check stopped, what have you started to do? Like something. He started pulling out pictures. I'm like, Santana, I love the passion. I love the general idea that, hey, how much we love this business, what we got to do, what hangs on this match. I get that. I get what he was trying to do, but no, it didn't land with me. I was kind of disappointed because I was really looking forward to Santana cutting loose. Dax didn't let me down, though. Dax scored. He said, I only care about 3 things. God, my family, and pro wrestling. And I believed him. He said it in a matter-of-fact way, and I believed him. Now, let's see them work the match like they care about pro wrestling. And that's a match I'm actually interested in because I like all the guys involved. I like Santana and Ortiz. I love FTR. Hopefully that match scores and at least give me something to watch on a Wednesday. So then we get the train wreck That was Andrade El Idolo and Death Triangle. Oh, buddy. So Andrade comes out. He's got a surprise because we've got a surprise every week. His surprise is Chavo Guerrero Jr., which is a good pickup. Chavo is a good idea. Everybody know, look, people can say what they want. And I know AEW fans don't like it. They didn't like it last week when they put subtitles on Andrade. I can understand Andrade. You're being very disrespectful of him. Tony Khan knows the truth. You can't understand shit Andrade is saying. You can't understand shit he's saying. Vince was right. The only thing he did wrong was not, he gave him Zelina, but they didn't let him actually do anything. But he was right. The guy can't talk. He can form ideas. I see him trying to talk. I see him, exuding confidence and character. Look at me, and bloody Elidoro, look at me, man. Look at me, man. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, look at you. You look great. I don't understand anything except for like every third word that you say. I have to use context clues to put together what the fuck you're talking about. I get that English is your second language. But at some point, I didn't even understand any of the Spanish either. I didn't understand none of that shit. So Chavo comes out, cuts a babyface promo, even though he's supposed to be the executive consultant for the heel. He comes out talking about, hey, this is a great place. This place is happening. AEW, man, I mean, such great talent in the back, but nobody's as great as Andrade. And I'm thinking, like, Chavo, have you forgotten how to cut a heel promo? You're the heel manager. Why would you come out putting everything over? You should come out and say, like, Andrade is a man who got his head on straight. He came, he was the guy who brought me in because he's smart enough to know that I am, going to bring class to AEW. No more garbage in AEW. No more bad Spanish. No more yada, yada, yada. Now I'm here to bring class to this show. Or something. But Chavo was just there, obviously, because nobody can understand Andrade. So, despite the fact that Chavo was there and nobody can understand Andrade, they decided to continue letting Andrade talk. Out comes Death Triangle. Death Triangle, Paca, talking like this, like Triple H in 1999. It was, I don't understand why he cuts his promos like that with an English accent. I don't get it. He said, "We hide from no one. That's a triangle." I'm like, oh. Phoenix says that we are the real face of Latinos, and then Penta says things. I don't know. But Andrade starts to talk, and he's like, why do you work for Pac? You should come work for Andrade El Idolo. And everybody's like, huh? Zero miedo. Zero miedo. And Andrade's like, oh, it's like half Arabic. Like, I don't understand none of this shit. And the fans are just chanting over him because they don't understand nothing he's saying. So the fans are chanting over him. He's still talking. He doesn't even have the sense to stop fucking talking because they're chanting. That's one of the first things you learn in NXT. When people are chanting, you stop. You stop. Let them get it out of their system, and then you continue. They chanted all over his promo. I didn't understand shit he said, and I don't care enough to go back and listen to it. Chavo had to take the mic away from him to finish the point. Like, oh, look, let me save you. Give me that thing. Okay. This was so bad. This was bad, dog. This made Andrade look stupid. It really did. They really need to do a better job. Because they made Andrade look like shit in this segment. He has actual WWE training. Why did he not learn? Crowd control. Let them chant their Zero Miedo. You nod along and say, yes, sí, Zero Miedo, sí, yes. And then says, or chant over them, Andrade, or something like that, in order to try to steal it or something. He just kept talking with his promo like he was in a flow state. Like he couldn't stop the words from coming out of his mouth. I'm just like, man, Andrade, it's not looking good. Andrade's not looking good so far. The matches will be dope. Pac says, "Oh yeah, they don't work. They don't work for me. We're a team. We're brothers. Yada yada yada." Oh boy. The point of this is to get Andrade and Phoenix in the ring, and Andrade and Pentagon. What after that though? After you get Andrade and Phoenix, after you get Andrade and Pentagon, then what? Then what? Because AAA is getting Andrade and Omega. Then what? What's the storyline going to be? Now, I can see that perhaps they're going to create like this stable of Latinos led by Chavo Guerrero. All right, cool. If you can get Pac and Penta, not Pac and Penta, but Penta and Phoenix to jump ship and join Andrade, that could be a sweet stable with Chavo Guerrero as their voice and Alex Abrahantes. That's fine. That's a good idea. We got to get there, and hopefully that's the way that they're going. But we'll have to see, because I don't see any long-term planning in any of this shit, man. I just see pop chasing and trying to get a gift from the good match fairy. So Christian cuts a promo talking about he thought it was over after he beat Matt Hardy, which it should have been. And then he suggested a 6-man tag in which he will team with the Jurassic Express to wrestle Angelico and Private Party. Did Christian leave the WWE to wrestle Angelico and Private Party? Is that what he did? Yes, he did. He did do that. He did those things. Imagine you get a guy, TNA used Christian better than this. Now I get it, Christian is older. He wants to work. You don't want to shotgun the guy to the top. Putting him in a storyline with Matt Hardy is fine. Teaming him up with Jurassic Express is an abortion. It's an absolute abortion. It is a creative failure. It is disgusting. And I want nothing more to do with it. It is dumb. I don't care if he's trying to give the rub to Jungle Boy. I don't care. All right? I don't care. It's stupid. This is a stupid angle. It's stupid. It's a waste of Christian. Christian only don't have that many bumps left in him. Why is he wasting any of them wrestling Private Party and Angelico? If anything, he should have said, I thought it was over after I kicked Matt Hardy's ass. I see I'm going to have to kick his ass again. And then made some type of gimmick match for him and Matt for a different date. And it doesn't have to be the same time. It could just be, put some money on the line, put something on the line, me, you one more time. It's still unnecessary for you to do Matt Hardy versus Christian, but if he's going to be wrestling, if Christian's going to be wrestling, he's going to be in a feud with Matt Hardy, he should be wrestling Matt Hardy, not Matt Hardy's underlings. He doesn't have that many bumps left in him. Matt Hardy doesn't either. All right? And if you're going to be having 6-man tags and trying to say, we're going to destroy HFO once and for all, shouldn't Matt Hardy be in that fucking match? Matt Hardy's not even in this match. It should might as well just be Jurassic Express versus HFO. This is stupid. Let's move on. QT Marshall said that Tony Schiavone disrespected him. That's why you poured protein shake all over him. I didn't know what that was. Don't care. QT Marshall can get shot out of a cannon and land into the middle of the fucking Atlantic Ocean. Who cares? The Blade does a job for Orange Cassidy. That match was a waste of time. I remember when Orange Cassidy used to actually be over and people used to actually care. Now people only pop for his theme song, and that's pretty much it. And then they had the Texas Death Match. Lance Archer versus Jon Moxley for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. United States Championship, I'm sorry. That's a different belt. I saw a fork, and I was like, I see what kind of party this is going to be. I mean, we already knew. But they were stabbing each other with forks, back and forth with forks. John Moxley did his butterfly suplex. That's supposed to be his DDT. And then Lance Archer jumped up and flipped him off, and that's fired up the crowd. The finish came with Moxley getting chokeslammed between two tables, and the tables had barbed wire on them, or barbed wire boards, or whatever you want to call it. So he didn't answer the count of 10, therefore he lost. And Lance Archer wins the IWGP United States Championship. Whoopee. And the crowd went wild. And then Hikuleo, the little brother of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, gets into the ring wearing a Bullet Club shirt, because Bullet Club is still a thing. So it's like half AEW Dynamite, 25, I shouldn't say half, 75% AEW Dynamite, 25% New Japan Strong. Because Hikuleo is not an important guy. I mean, he's a big dude for sure. Now, I've seen some of his matches. I don't know enough about him to denigrate him. Only thing I can say is you have to be the hardest of the hardcores to really appreciate Hikuleo and Nick Gage. You have to be the hardest of the hardcores, a guy who reads not only dirt sheets, but goes on like 4chan and goes into people's Discords and all this kind of stuff to talk about wrestling. Most people don't care about this stuff, and I get it. The AEW does not care about the mainstream audience. But you can't tell me that real wrestling fans are excited for wrestling and love wrestling and is okay with like the Orange Cassidy and Sting stuff. Shouldn't that be... Couldn't imagine if they did that shit on a Monday. Can't imagine. Right? Can't imagine you would have done something like sign a guy like Christian and then didn't use him properly. And then say, oh, he's trying to give a rub to somebody. Man, come on, man. Nobody's going to buy that shit. Nobody's buying that stuff, man. This show sucked. As usual, man. It's just bad. The Labors of Jericho was a good idea. I have a morbid curiosity in the Jericho Gage match, but as soon as somebody busts out a Prisa Slicer or something like that, I'm going to be out of it. I am 100% on board for Santana and Ortiz versus FTR. I'm 100% on for that. But I really don't have anything to get excited about on this show, man. There's nothing real exciting about AEW right now, except for the prospect of them signing other people. Because that's all really that gets excited for people about AEW. They get tired of these toys. Daddy brings them new toys every week. And then they play with them for a little bit, and then they toss them to the side, and then there's new toys coming. And they're constantly unwrapping. It's like Christmas every week. Eventually you're going to get tired of it. People are going to get burned out. It's only been like a year and some change. This can't last forever. It's not enough people for them to continuously sign and bring in new people and sign and bring in new people. Even with Rampage, it's not going to be enough. But we'll see. Let me know what you guys think. Share this video, like this video, subscribe to this channel, donate to this channel via Subscribe Star. Thank you guys for your time. And I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort so